My friend Shayne has never had Jollibee until today. We all got to eat and we all remember our first time. Shayne Topp, welcome to the show.
Drive.
Oh God, Jesus Christ,
Drive.
I don't know how to drive. I don't
Red
have
is chasing
a license.
me down. I stole his wallet.
I hire people on Fiverr to drive me around in my own car. Also, Rhett can't run anymore. He's got so many knee problems. It's fine.
He's too tall.
Unless he finds a skateboard, you're completely safe.
Okay. Wow, thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Thanks for, we got you a pineapple quencher.
Fantastic.
So you've never been to Jollibee before, or you've only had...
I went to Jollibee once.
Okay.
All right. I was in Alhambra. I lied. I'm so sorry. No.
Can we get a talent change out?
I was in Alhambra, and I passed by a Jollibee, and I had wanted to go to Jollibee so much my entire time in LA.
It's a big aspiration.
It's been a bunch of missed connections. I'm always like too busy when I see one, and I like see it. I'm like, oh, like I'm so curious about it. And finally went, but there was a long line. I freaked out. I looked at the menu and I was like, I know they have a bunch of stuff I would like to try, and I ended up just getting some chicken and fries.
Yeah.
And then I had to drive like an hour home. So by the time I got home, it wasn't like warm and good, and so I feel like I blew it.
Yeah, we say you always remember your first time, but sometimes you don't want to remember your first time. You're not.
It just felt like I didn't earnestly do it.
Yeah, you're kind of nervous, like you said. You were freaking out. You know? And I don't think it's nice. I'm glad that I can now give you like your real first time.
I knew immediately when you guys reached out. I was like, Jollibee, I want to do it for real this time.
Hell yeah, dude! I'm stoked. Should we just get into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm starting. Have you eaten since your workout this morning?
I on purpose avoided food. I had a little bit of toast. That's it. Now I'm ready for. What is this?
This is the most Filipino item on the entire menu.
Whoa!
At Jollibee. So this is called Pancit Palabok. Or at Jollibee, they call it Palabok Fiesta. So pancit refers to the noodles. They're like a glass starch noodle. But then on top, now that is both the Palabok and the Fiesta.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, this absolutely
Like, this is what I was hoping for, but I didn't, like, when I was looking, I was like, where's the stuff?
I feel like I should be brought as a sort of guide to a lot of these first-time fast food experiences.
Absolutely.
So this is like a bunch of, the orange is actually ground dried shrimp that's turned into a sauce.
Whoa.
Palabok means like seasoning or kind of topping. And then there's a little bit of ground pork as well. It kind of just turns into like one raft of noodle.
Yeah. Ooh, it's hot.
Hell yeah, dude. How's this still so hot? We drove this from like Alhambra.
They're just never one, like, close enough. It's always just too far away from me. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is good.
Dude.
This is crazy.
How much do you know about the history of Jollibee?
None.
Do you want to know about the history of Jollibee?
I'm good. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, perfect. No, I don't want to talk about
I knew that you would have. You didn't have to do research, did you? You knew the history.
It started off, it was just a family in the Philippines in 1974 in Quezon City.
Okay.
But they started with an ice cream parlor. So it was like if somebody opened a Haagen-Dazs and then just started like unsolicitedly slinging like burgers and chicken on the side.
Okay.
And people went, oh shoot, burgers and chicken are really popular. But they eventually were like, we're not an ice cream parlor anymore. We're slinging hot food. And this is in like 1975, which is actually a key date because McDonald's gets to the Philippines 6 years later. So Jollibee basically was like combating pure sort of like American Western export.
Whoa.
So they were like, where we can win is making stuff like the Palabok Fiesta.
Yeah.
And like keeping this Filipino.
And if they had it at McDonald's, it would suck.
What was your fast food of choice growing up?
I said this on Last Meals. We were an Arby's family.
That's right.
And I feel like that's gotten kind of a bad name nowadays, which I don't know when that happened, because I don't think people have Arby's that often.
No.
But it doesn't make sense that it gets the like shit talking it gets, because it is good. I haven't had it in a long time, but we got it all the time.
They're like, I think they're combating a stereotype of it being like a dad food.
Yeah, well, my dad was the one who did love it the most.
My dad loved. Oh,
he
boy,
would
my
bring
dad
it
loved
home.
Arby's.
We'd be driving home, and he'd be like, "Oh, let's stop at Arby's. We'll get like 50 sandwiches. That way, we have them for today and for the rest of the week."
It's incredible. What do you think your like embarrassing dad trait is going to be?
I definitely recognize when I am talking to like strangers or like someone I sort of know. I turn into the way my dad like turns on for people, where he's like, "Hey, how's it going? Nice, great." And I'm like, "What am I doing?
Damn glad.
I don't need to do that. Like, I can be normal."
No, I don't know. I think there's something kind of really sweet about just transforming into all of the things that you thought were so cringy. Mine is like trauma dumping on cashiers.
On cashiers specifically.
You'd be at the gas station and just be like, yeah, lost everything in the divorce. And I'd be
Oh
like,
my
"Dad,
God.
This is a Chevron. Don't do that." And then literally this morning, I was like buying a kombucha. And then like, how's your day going? It's like, my cat's really sick and they don't know what's going on.
Oh, shit, dude.
Oh, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Shayne, this is a show about firsts. We're going to be asking some questions about your firsts.
Okay.
I want to know what the first book you read that made you fall in love with reading is, because you've made me fall deeper in love with reading. I've read Chain Gang All-Stars recently. Really
so good.
Incredible.
So good.
And as a male book talker like yourself, I think it's a needed niche in society.
Absolutely.
What was the thing that kicked it off?
So, I hated reading when I was a kid. Did not read anything.
Were you good at it?
I think it's because I wasn't interested in it. It was agonizing. I was like forced to do it. So it just took me forever to get through books. And then somehow like at 16, I was homeschooled. I started getting nervous of like, my education level's kind of just whatever I decide it to be. Because the homeschooling I was doing out here, these like actor homeschooling things where I would just take home packets and not really do them. And I was like, oh, my learning is decided by me. Am I gonna be dumb? I need to make sure I'm not. I went straight for the classics and I went hardcore. I was like, I'm gonna go all in. And I chose Count of Monte Cristo. And I chose the unabridged version, which is 1,300 pages
Jesus
long.
Christ, is it really?
It is so unnecessarily long. It has a big, gigantic side plot that really isn't necessary. If you're gonna read it, you can read the abridged. It's like half the length. And I was just hooked on it. I started falling in love with just like the act of reading. Like it felt very calming, and there was something cool of like knowing this was written hundreds of years ago. And now here I am picking it up. And so I just started going through a lot of classics. I read Catcher in the Rye, which I really liked.
Catcher in the Rye is the Arby's of books.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hate for Catcher
Gets a lot
in
of
the Rye.
hate. I've seen on Book Talk, it's the funny thing where if a protagonist sucks, they go, oh, the book is bad because he's a bad person. It's like, no, the point is that he's a bad person.
Yeah.
I think I did over the years like burn myself out a little bit with trying to read those classics. They're good. They are classics for a reason, but I will say in the past like decade, I've shifted far more to reading like current stuff. And you're seeing just like uses of the medium in ways that are so amazing.
Shayne, this is the spaghetti.
Okay.
Now, have you ever had Filipino spaghetti in general?
No.
Oh man, what
Not
are
at
you
all.
expecting from it?
I don't know how you could change up spaghetti too much.
Oh, you really can. Shayne.
I really don't know.
There's a lot more bananas in here than you're gonna
Bananas?
expect. But you're not gonna notice the bananas. The bananas are blended.
Okay.
So it kind of goes back to like the Spanish-American War and World War II. So American GIs introduced ketchup, along with things like hot dogs and Spam to the Philippines, which have then now become manufactured by Filipino companies like the San Miguel Corporation, which actually owned Magnolia ice cream, which was associated with Jollibee. But anyways, they didn't have enough tomatoes to keep up with ketchup demand, so they started making banana ketchup.
Okay. I'm in.
So, dude, it's awesome. It's super sweet. And so they mix that in with the spaghetti sauce.
Whoa.
There's generally hot dogs, some sort of like ground pork, and then like a kind of processed yellow cheddar that's somewhere between like a cheddar and an American cheese.
Okay.
On it, it's generally just called like queso in the Philippines.
And are these sausages?
Yes, insofar as a hot dog is a
Okay.
sausage, because it is hot dogs.
Oh, sure. Oh, great.
The banana's really hidden though.
Hold on. I got to get some of this refresher going.
Quencher, not refresher. It's called a quencher.
Quencher. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
When they had the calamansi quencher though,
What's that?
Calamansi is a native Filipino citrus fruit that's like, I call it like a cross between like a lime and a mandarin almost. So it's like
Whoa.
it's like just at that level of tart where you probably wouldn't want to eat a whole one.
Sure.
But also has enough of that kind of sweet to get you coming back.
That's awesome.
Oh man.
I'm not tasting the banana.
No.
It's just the sweetness.
Well, the banana blends into the ketchup.
Is it all banana ketchup or is it a mixture of classic ketchup and banana ketchup?
I'm curious. I don't know if they use it at Jollibee, which I feel ashamed about because I feel like it's something I should know.
Yeah, man.
You
You just know everything else.
Soft. It's like when I didn't know that Zippies use mayonnaise in their chili. It's like when I didn't know that Zippies use mayonnaise in their chili. Whoa, are you zoning out right now? No, I wasn't. Wait, Are you me right now? Well, I'm the version of us that's in Pineapple Paradise. Dude, can I get one of those Ollipops? Sure. Heck yeah, I love Olipop. Yeah, for sure. Special thanks to them for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. Do you know the #1 nutrient that people don't get enough of is fiber? I know, man. The only reason we can eat the way we do on the show is because fiber is our secret engine. Dude, I've been saying that. The fact that we can drink soda and actually get nutrients, we're living in the future. It's jetpacks, it's flying cars, and it's Olipop, dude. We can't stop drinking these limited edition Pineapple Paradise Olipop in collaboration with the new SpongeBob movie. And as guys who often grab energy drinks, it's nice to finally grab something that gives us some useful fiber, you know what I mean? And Olipop doesn't have to be refrigerated, so I can keep a stash anywhere I want to. Also, the can's got different faces on it that fit my many different moods. I'm feeling piratey, and I think a little bit Irish. And you can grab Olipop at Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, and tons of other places. And please scan our QR code to get $2 off a 4-pack. That's right, Daydream Josh. And a big thanks to Olipop for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. Wait, what was Shayne saying again? Shayne, what's the first thing you do every day?
I'm trying to be better about this because I noticed that I'm really bad with my phone, right? Like so many of us. And I noticed at a certain point that the first thing I was doing was pulling up my phone. Mm-hmm. And like I would start by being like, oh, I'm looking at the time, I'm looking at my calendar. And then suddenly I'm just like, why am I looking at like social media first thing? And it immediately pisses me off, right? Like it shows me some bullshit I don't need to know about. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, look at this guy who said this thing. And I'm just like, oh, f him. And I'm like, why do I care about this random person? And so I'm trying to be better about waking up and just like chilling for a second and like just taking in like the room and like looking out the window and just like truly just like being present in the moment.
Kind of sounds like what my cat does, you know, just kind of takes in a room and looks out a window a lot of the time.
Man, I'm like, hey, I need to learn from them. And my cat loves in the morning to get up and like cuddle with me like a football.
Oh, that's
he loves to be right
sweet.
here. So I'm like, okay, like I can just be here and chill with him. He's being present. I can be present with him. And then I get up and usually I try to get up and go to the gym. Because like this, as soon as I can get it done with, I'm like, get it done. Mm. I like to go, just zone out, blast through it, get home, feel good that I'm done with that. But on like a weekend, my favorite thing to do first thing is wake up really early and make some coffee and usually like read.
Dude.
Reading early in the morning or video games early in the morning slap.
I kind of like stopped playing video games because in my mind, I was like, it's the only thing that I do that I don't think is like productive, which is not a good way to look at life of like, I have to be productive.
Sure.
But I was like, I could be reading, even like watching some sort of TV, I'm getting something, but slamming Rocket League stuck at the same level for like, 2 years.
Sure.
Wasn't doing anything. But now I think that it'd be a lot better to put that back into my diet than going to my phone and just scrolling through the most hateful things on earth.
I agree. I don't know, I struggle with that with video games because I'm like, I have that thought process a lot too of like, oh, I'm being unproductive here. But what is the difference between playing a video game, especially one that's like very mentally challenging? Like, I have like a puzzle game or something with like a really intense storyline to it. What is the difference between that and reading? And it depends on the book you're reading too, right? Like in my head, I'm like, what is the difference?
Do you remember the first time you like felt accomplished from lifting weights?
I started lifting when I was a teenager. My mom was a fitness trainer, so I spent like a very nostalgic thing for me is the YMCA. My mom worked at a Y, so after school she'd pick me up and I would go and like chill at the Y while she finished working. Now I was like 10, so I wasn't working out then. But then when I was like 12, 13, I started like just doing some light weightlifting, nothing intense, and wasn't really into it until I really think I was like 18, 19 when I started being like, okay, I'm gonna start really like working out. There was like moments over the years. I think a few years ago, I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to really start like strength training a little bit more. I wanna see like, I'm in my late 20s, let me see where I can push it to. And I remember when I passed benching 225 and being like, whoa, like this feels so great. And I didn't have a spotter or anything, so I was like, I'm not gonna go much farther than this. I definitely started hitting that point with weightlifting where I was like, all right, now it's starting to like kind of hurt.
You mean hurt because like old age, joint pain?
Yeah. No, I mean, but also just like heavy lifting to a point where I'm like, is this benefiting me or is this ego? And so now I've really dialed it back to like, I want to see what's the most weight I can lift like for 10 reps. And like really controlled, like I'm trying to get more meditative with it.
It's called wisdom.
Yeah.
That's wisdom. You don't need to do it.
And that's the type of lifting that I can do for the rest of my life. You know, like my goal now is to lift in a way that when I'm 60, 70, that I'm still like able to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's the goal.
I say that and then I don't execute it at all. And my
Really?
shoulder hurts really badly right now. Do you ever hear me moaning in the gym?
No.
Nice.
No, I don't. But I have headphones in, so if I heard that over the audiobook I'm hearing, that would be pretty wild.
Do you grunt?
I don't think I try not to, but I definitely am like a wincer.
It's almost when you try not to where it comes out.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's just like
Sitting there doing like shoulder rage, you're like, ah!
This is my own personal favorite Jollibee thing. So this is the spicy fried chicken sandwich, but what you gotta do, you gotta shake up the gravy a little bit. You gotta treat it like a French dip and dunk it in their gravy. So this is the gravy that comes with their chicken joy.
I love how you got a request to crinkle more. They're like, we need crinkles.
So we're crinkling our way into the scene.
Yeah, Crinkle in Time, good book.
Oh, A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah, I've not actually read it.
I don't think I've read it either.
No, but I hear it's good.
Should we read it?
Yeah, let's grab it.
Do you have a book club?
I don't.
Who's your dream book club member?
I think just at the end of every Last Meals episode, you pitch them on our book club.
I think I should. Cool, because the first person that came to my mind, Serge Tankian, lead singer of System of a Down.
Okay,
I feel like he'd be in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Get him, Gordon Ramsay, Caleb Heron. We're all just reading books together. People are gonna love that. Can I say I am so jealous that you got to sit down and talk with Caleb Heron. I am truly, he is my favorite.
So you texted me about that. Do you know that your wife also texted me about that? I think I forgot to respond to her.
Where like everyone at Smosh he's the funniest person.
Why have you had him on Smosh?
No.
Were you invited?
No.
Would you like to take the time to invite Caleb Heron on Smosh?
Caleb Heron, please join us on Smosh at some point. I think you're so funny. Like, imagine him on Reddit stories. He would just say the funniest shit on the planet.
Yeah, Caleb Heron, join our book club. This is absurd.
Okay.
Get the spice, get the gravy.
This is great.
You starting to feel sick yet?
No. No, I'm feeling good. I have a dentist appointment right after this, by the way. They were like, we can see you at 1. I'm like, for sure. I'm like, oh God, my breath is gonna be crazy.
I have a used floss pick in my wallet if you want it. Have you had to get major dental work done?
I've had multiple root canals.
Dude.
The most agonizing pain I've ever been in, which is probably this is a very lucky thing that a tooth infection is the worst pain I've ever had in my life.
Well, yeah.
It was one weekend and I had started having tooth pain and for the week leading up, but I was kind of like, oh, I think it's my jaw. It felt like my jaw. It felt like I had done something or clenched too hard, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm just having some whatever issues, TMJ. Then Saturday hits and it just becomes agonizing suddenly. Now, my dentist office is closed because it's the weekend. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna schedule an appointment on Monday, I'll be fine. And it became so bad that I basically did not sleep Saturday night. And I just all weekend, I'm just in agonizing pain. I should have just gone to an emergency dental clinic, but I was like, no, I'm okay, I'll be fine. Now, on Monday, I had to film on Goldberg's, the show I was on at the time. I had a 5 a.m. call time, so I had to go. And I was filming one pickup shot, and so I was there on set, can barely close my mouth. I'm getting through these lines, and then we wrap really early. I blast back home. I call the dentist, and I'm like, I am in agonizing pain. My tooth feels like it's gonna explode. And they're like, yeah, we could probably see you right now if it's an emergency. I'm like, absolutely. And I just blasted my way there, and I show up, and then the relief that I felt the second they put the anesthetic in, and they're like, yeah, you have a tooth infection. And
I think it's because they're separate insurances that separates it in our mind to be teeth aren't real part of body. It can't be that bad of a health problem.
Yeah.
And then it is. I had a similar thing. I was supposed to fly out, this is in college, fly out to the Texas Relays, which is one of the biggest track meets in the nation. We were flying out from LA, staying there for a full week to do 2 different meets. And Same thing, had a tooth infection, but I was like, I'll deal with it when I get back from like the spring break Texas Relays trip. And then it blew up the day we were like getting on the bus to go to the airport. And I hop on the bus and like my whole jaw was just like visibly swollen. And we get on and the team trainer just looks at me and goes like, what the happened to your jaw? You were on the track and field team. This is not a contact injury. And I was like, I think my tooth hurts. I'll be fine. I'll figure it out in Texas. And like, good on him. He sent me to the UCLA dental clinic.
Oh.
And they were like, yeah, you have a massive tooth infection, abscess, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Immediately drained it. And I was able to actually fly out 3 days later and still like make the meet. But also he was like, if you tell them that this happened via sports, then it'll be covered by the UCLA athletic insurance.
How did you explain that it happened via sports?
Oh, I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I was like training and I got something
bit one
in
of the
my
hurdles.
mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like kind of. It was more of like a bureaucratic thing. Like they weren't too interested.
My teeth
in
are
it.
why I'm fast.
Accepting imperfections is often tough. Shayne, when was the first time you realized you were a perfectionist?
I think the problem was like getting into acting as a kid. I've talked about this so much on like our podcast, but you know, there's kind of like an emphasis on being perfect and like more like being like visually perfect, right? Like, oh, you need to fit the part. You need to be like, you need to look great when you go into this room full of adults, and like you need to be memorable, right? You need to be more memorable than everybody else who went in today. And so it's like perfectionism on like a weird level where it's got to be beyond, like there's no standard, right? It's just
got to
like,
be more perfect than
you just got to be better than everybody
Yeah.
else, but not, there's no skill that's like measured. It's just like, no, you have to be a cooler, like more charming person.
That's frightening.
I think joining Smosh, you can kind of see in like the first years that I joined, you can see my insecurities slowly shed as I just kind of like accept who I am, right? Like talked a lot about how I was wearing lifts in my shoes when I first started.
Yeah.
I was constantly wearing a jacket to just kind of cover up my body to like
You don't
hide.
have to cover up your body in front of me.
I know.
I'm proud of your body.
I actually am just wearing this because I think it's cool as hell. But yeah, I slowly just started taking those things away and like embracing who I am and making a lot of jokes. Like my self-deprecating humor was kind of in a way me like accepting who I was. Like I'm making fun of the fact that I'm short. I'm making fun of the fact that I'm silly, that I'm not this thing, because I'm like, that never was who I was gonna be. And by trying to become something that I'm not, that's way worse than anything that I am.
When you meet somebody new in your life, you have no idea what the previous version of them was.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like really fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm curious what your first impression of me was.
I think I thought you were hilarious right off the bat. There was one time where I was in the kitchen and you were in the middle of a shoot, but like you came in, I think you needed lunch or something, you were hungry, and like you're like talking to people and you're like, all right, yeah, for sure. And like you come past me and you're just like, get the fuck out of my way. Like, whatever. And like you said it in a way that I'm like, I know this is so funny. I know like you mean it in such a funny way, but you're also just such an honest person in that way. You know?
Yeah. You gotta learn to like take things as they come in the kitchen, you know?
I remember once Courtney being like, oh, did you see that ramen I cooked? I posted stories of this ramen I made over the weekend. And you're like, yeah, it looked really great. Actually, I don't know why I lied. No, it looked really overcooked. And Courtney was just like, for sure.
Yeah, I'd known you all for like a period of a couple weeks.
A few weeks, but no,
Yeah.
let's get this going.
I get bummed out when I go to Smosh.
And end of sentence.
No.
I get bummed out when I go to Smosh.
It bums me out in a really like almost bittersweet nostalgia way when I walk in and like I don't recognize like the person who's like working the desk, or like there's new producers and they're like, hey, how you doing? I'm just like, oh, I don't know. They have their own life of their own.
That's also been just like this past year, man. I mean, Smosh has just, it's crazy the success that we've had. It's kind of unprecedented. It's become this big thing suddenly. I do my show, Shayne Guesses, right? Where I'm like guessing a list of things and I have to pick which coworker it is. And the list has gotten so big now that I'm like, I can't.
Did this start with the slap thing?
Yes.
Was that the first one?
I pitched that. I was like, I'll be blindfolded. People slap me. I'll
You
guess
didn't have
who
to
that
tell
is.
me that you pitched that. I can tell you pitched that.
Did I just get punched in the face?
You want to eat a mango passion peach pie? Peach
Yes.
mango pie. No
Yes.
passion. This is a dessert pie.
Whoa. All right.
Oh, I got the ube pie. Oh, I didn't know if they had it.
Wait.
Yes, here.
Okay.
Have these.
All right.
Why can't I figure that out? That wasn't a bit.
I just learned that ube is a yam, right?
Depending on how the word yam is a really nebulous term that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Okay, I was at lunch.
Tuber. It's a tuber.
But aren't potatoes tubers?
Yes.
But someone was saying that yams grow on vines.
Well, so it probably depends what they mean by yam, because like if you go to like West Africa, right? They likely call cassava yam.
Okay.
So if you like, have you ever had Nigerian food? They have fufu.
No.
Oh, shit, you never had Nigerian food.
Damn.
You should do that off camera, dude.
Yeah.
It's one of the best.
All right.
They have like a pounded yam thing. It's like really starchy, but it's cassava. And then if you go to like Japan, they have something that's like grated mountain yam. That's just a completely unrelated thing.
Oh.
And then in America, we're just like, oh, these are candied yams, and it's just a sweet potato.
No.
So yeah, it's just starchy purple thing that somewhat resembles a potato. That's quite sweet.
Okay. Which one should I do first?
Go with the peach mango.
Okay.
They still fry their pies unlike the cowards at McDonald's. You know,
So good though.
should be frying it in beef tallow, seed oils. Shayne, they're killing us.
Oh shit.
I had someone really earnestly tell me I need to stop eating seed oils recently, and I just, rather than fighting it, I just said, all right.
Sure, man.
You know,
I will.
didn't want to bring up the research. Do you remember the first time you just acquiesced to someone's terrible idea because it wasn't worth the fight?
I had an Uber driver tell me his script, the summary of his script that he was going to sell before he makes it big in Hollywood. And he told me this script idea, which was not really a story or a script of any sort. It was just kind of a weird conspiracy theory. And he was like, "What do you think of that?" And I was like, "That's amazing, man. That's going to be a great movie." Because I was terrified.
Joss Whedon.
Yeah. Can I have? Okay.
I started eating. I'm sorry. The ube is loose. It's loose and wet. Oh man.
Oh my God, this is good.
Shayne, do you remember your first big failure?
When I was a little kid, like 5 years old, I was in a soccer league. And I remember all season long, did not score a single goal. And I was like, damn, like 5-year-old me being like, I suck at this. And finally one game, I got the ball, I'm going down, I'm like, I've got this, oh my God, it's my moment. I kick it in the goal, I'm literally like freaking out. And then everyone's like, that was your own goal. Like you completely just scored on yourself. And I was like, for sure, man. And that was a pretty big bummer. That was the only goal I got that entire season.
Did they give the other team the point?
I don't think so. I think at that age, they're not even counting it. Like,
their job is to uncluster the children, because at some point they all just end up kicking the ball with equal force in a circle.
You're just running around, right? Like I definitely spent most of the games like picking grass. On the ground.
Yeah. And that set the tone for your entire life of failing.
Oh, absolutely. And I've learned, and here at Smosh, like failing can be the greatest gift.
Shayne, what's one first that you haven't had yet that you're looking forward to having, other than losing your virginity?
Yeah, other than sex.
Sex, yeah. It's overrated.
Okay, first thing that just came to my head is I would love to see a blue whale in person. Like, just because, like...
Underwater or above water or on land?
To see a blue whale, I think you're probably going to be on a boat, like, because you have to go so far out. It probably wouldn't be underwater. Just to see one would be super cool.
Blue whale.
Seeing animals just always is like kind of dope.
Yeah, that's the thing. As I've gotten older, that's maybe my Arby's.
Ooh,
is seeing animals.
I just feel like every day I'm doing something different, even if it's small little things, you know.
Like this.
And now we got to get Nigerian food.
Tune in for part 2. I want to do. I want to defenestrate somebody.
What is that?
Defenestrate.
Is that like kill them?
You figure out what happens after they're defenestrated is not up to me. All I know is they're currently fenestrated, and I want them defenestrated.
I'm scared.
You're not going to be the one that's defenestrated. Well, there is a finester right here.
A finester?
Well, we'll be fine. Thank you so much for stopping by Mythical Kitchen. We got new episodes out all the time. Make sure you read up on the defenestration of Prague, or some of the many political defenestrations throughout history. As a big bohemian way to execute.
I'm going to Google this right after this, and I hope it's not something scary.
Join the Mythical Society 3rd Degree quarterly or annual now to get the Mythical Clue game.